Why are Americans into buying these monstrous trucks? Especially men. I just don't get it. These cars are just too big to be practical, they're expensive, and I can't think of a situation when one would really need one. They're not even fun, compared with other cars, and people aren't allowed to speed anyways. Seems just like a waste. What's the reason? I'm not American, by the way. Trucks are the luxury car of working guys, I think. We have so many parking lot princesses here. Just pristine pickups that only pick up groceries. I got a tow 14k pounds, and they don't make a smaller vehicle that can do it reliably. I wish I could buy a brand new 3500 diesel circa 1990s, but nope. I drive a big truck because they don't make a capable small truck anymore. To some degree, it's also an arms race. I'm sure there's a non-zero number of people who wouldn't have normally purchased a big vehicle, but did after not feeling safe in their smaller one. My truck has the space I need to haul around all my outdoor gear. Fishing rods, big cooler, maybe a tent, chairs, firewood. I camp in the truck bed sometimes. And I might be throwing myself under the bus here, but I find my truck to be very fun. Why do people buy sports cars? Because they want them. As a truck owner, I've learned that once I've owned one, it's super inconvenient to not own one. I'm not American, by the way, which explains a lot of why you don't get it. They're not too big to be practical in a place where most of the country was built around cars. My friend has a couple of pickups, he also owns a trailer big enough to haul cars and small equipment on, and he owns a bobcat and a couple of tractors. He also pulls a camper with it. I own a small truck and trailer that I routinely use to haul lumber, scrap, and brush. They're very versatile vehicles, and if you have regular need of one, why not own one? And people aren't allowed to speed anyways. This made me laugh. Like, tell me you have never driven on an American road without telling me. I've driven one and just loved it. It was like driving around in my living room. Tons of space, comfortable, clear views over most traffic. Personally, I don't have one and have no need for one, but I can definitely see the attraction. I care for 650 acres and multiple properties. Some of us work with our trucks, they aren't just showpieces. Some of us do need them big. Ours sits in the garage mostly, but when it's used, it's hooked to a 35-horse trailer camper unit. A little Chevy S10 just won't cut it. I live in Europe now and don't have a car, but before leaving the US I had a plug-in hybrid as my daily commuter and around-town car, and I had a full-sized 4x4 truck I used when going camping, skiing, hunting, etc., and whenever I had to move big items or take things to the dump. The gas mileage of the truck and the trouble finding parking for it made it impractical as a daily driver living in a city, but it was much more comfortable to ride in because it was spacious. I have 3 kids, and they preferred riding in the truck when the whole family went somewhere together. Why do tiny women need a Nissan Armada? SUVs are bigger than ever. It's not just men and their trucks. I drive a large 4x4 pickup truck for driving in harsh Canadian winters. Also super handy for hauling or moving various things. Overkill? Yeah, probably. They're luxury vehicles at this point. The price they sell new trucks for are ridiculous. Almost traded in for a new Dodge Ram couple years ago with the 5.7. 60k, nothing special. First thing in my mind was ain't no scratches or dirt getting in this. Which defeats the purpose of trucks. Luckily I didn't get it, which I'm glad. I want something older, paid off, and I can use and haul stuff with anyways. I have one because where I work requires 4x4 to even get around. I also work in the middle of nowhere and it turns into a mud pit when it rains. Truck owner here. I'm a construction superintendent. I work in places that sometimes require 4x4 access, sometimes I haul, sometimes I tow. I use my truck every day. It is black on black, but it looks almost tan from all the dust and mud. It's pointless to wash it because it gets dirty literally the next day. Even in the later stages of construction, the dust is unbeatable, so it's pointless to wash it. Long story short, I bought mine because I need it. What are you calling a monstrous truck? I have an F-150 farm truck. It's the smallest that will do everything I potentially need. A smaller truck doesn't have the clearance to go through the brush or woods. Depending on where you live, that truck could be a necessary tool. I live in the country and use my truck daily for towing, hauling, etc., and many of the roads I drive are unpaved dirt trails or farm tractor cuts. You need 4x4 and some serious clearance to navigate that type of terrain. Personal preference. My fiancé loves his big truck. It's useful for his blue-collar job, and it's useful in our region because it snows for 7 months of the year. Not to mention those things are built like tanks, sitting up higher is fun, and hauling stuff like furniture is easier. I can think of a lot of reasons. They are practical, pretty handy for work tbh. Heaven forbid people buy stuff that makes them happy. I know farmers that need them, but most of the ones around my town are just for show pride. The amount of pristine massive gas guzzlers used as a daily commuter is laughable and not a good use of resources. I'm not really into decking out big trucks, but just let people have fun. Don't worry about what we do. Because they can. I like big trucks, I cannot lie. Life is short, I work hard. I drive what makes me happy. After Kleinschwanzmobil. People aren't allowed to speed anyways. LOL. LMAO, even. They are a waste. We need the manufacturers to bring back their smaller light trucks. I love my '98 Ranger, sometimes wish it was a bit newer, but there aren't any new options that compete with it. I just want a little truck, built on a little frame, with a durable engine that makes low-end torque, 4x4 optional, and a proper bed. Don't care if it's slow, I can have my fun with that, I just need it to be able to haul bikes in the bed and a quad on a trailer. It actually comes down to emissions. Vehicles of a certain size can only emit certain amounts of pollution. The manufacturers are getting around EPA regulations by making the vehicles bigger so they don't have to spend the money to make the engines run cleaner. Oh, we know just by the post you aren't American. I think most people outside of rural USA fail to recognize the utility that a big crew cab truck brings to the table. Going on vacation with your family? All of you can ride in the truck and plenty of storage for your luggage. Need to take the trash to the dump? Take the truck. Going fishing and need something to haul your boat? Got it. Need to rebuild the deck? Hop in. The reason people buy big trucks is because it literally checks every box except one: fuel efficiency. And quite frankly, the USA has the cheapest fuel on the planet. So why bother? I have no issue with trucks, however I have issues with truck culture and how some truck drivers conduct themselves. I also feel that some trucks have become ridiculously big. They are very comfortable. They can pull stuff like boats and campers. They can drive well on bad roads. They are great overall vehicles. That and people like them. Why are you into buying impractical expensive Warhammer 40,000 miniatures? Because I am tall and dislike bumping my head every time I get in my vehicle. I own my home and it is great for hauling everything from furniture to toilets to mulch. I like getting outdoors, so it does great hauling equipment like bikes, kayaks, SUPs, tents, coolers. It is incredibly practical for my life. Project all the insecurities relating to my dick you like. I am happy, productive and self-sufficient, and I wouldn't be nearly as much without my truck. You don't need to get it, but understanding that some people just like trucks and use said trucks on a daily basis would help. Personally, I don't understand why people like little cars so low to the ground and seem so dangerous in a wreck. I have both a car and a truck, but I prefer my truck.